Hello, good evening. I'm Kubrali. You're watching Awaz News. I'll be taking you to top stories across Canada today. A one home that has been targeted of gunfire twice in the last month is associated to a murdered member of the tow truck industry in the Greater Toronto Area, GTA York Regional Police say. Speaking to reporters on Wednesday afternoon, police said the home that was hit by gunfire overnight was associated to Alexander Vinogradsky, a tow truck driver who was fatally shot in 2024. The shooting, which occurred at a home on Farrell Road, located in the area of Bathurst Street and Major Mackenzie Drive, occurred at around 3:30 a.m. Shortly after gunshots rang out on that street, police said another home was targeted nearby. In total, police say 6 shootings at 4 separate addresses in one has been linked. All 6 shootings occurred this month, police noted. While one home that was targeted was associated with a Vinogradsky, who was shot and killed in North York in March 2024, police would not confirm if all the shootings are connected to recent violent incidents linked to the towing industry. The suspects in Wednesday's morning shooting were seen fleeing the area in a white or silver SUV, police said. No injuries were reported. Speaking to reporters outside the Farrell Road home on Wednesday morning, Vaughan Mayor Stephen Del Duca said he is frustrated by the repeated incidents of violence in the city. He said York Regional Police are working around the clock to keep residents of the region safe. I'm very, very frustrated with the fact that we continue to struggle with criminals and crime here in our city, a city that I have lived in for close to 40 years, Del Duca added. We need our federal government to show leadership, to step up, to introduce legislation and pass legislation urgently to confront this crisis. An Ontario Catholic school board that made headlines for banning alternative flags, including those marking Pride, has been ordered by the province's education minister to change that policy to fly orange flags on National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. Paul Calandra's press secretary Emma Testany said the minister has directed the provincially appointed supervisor of the Dufferin-Peel Catholic District School Board to allow the display of the survivors' flag on September 30th, honoring those who were forced to attend residential schools. But Testany said Wednesday the minister's directive to amend the school board's flag policy only applies to the survivors' flags, given the urgency of the matter. The Greater Toronto Area School Board, one of the several placed under provincial supervision due to mismanagement, has policy that only allows the Canadian flag, provincial or territorial flags, and the school board flag at its schools and buildings. Dufferin-Peel Catholic School Board spokesperson Bruce Campbell would not confirm Wednesday whether the survivors' flag would be flown outside schools next week, saying the board is directing media inquiries to the Ministry of Education since it's under ministry supervision. School board trustees voted in June 2024 against allowing flags marking Pride and other events in a decision that sparked controversy within the school board and in the community amid division over youth and LGBTQ+ rights. Trustee Bray Corbett, who was in favor of flying the Pride flag, told a January board meeting that the policy is worse for every marginalized person in our schools by excluding flags that equity-seeking groups identify them. Meanwhile, groups such as the Campaign Life Coalition applauded the ban. The policy banning Pride flags was upheld in January, and motion to amend it to allow the Every Child Matters flag to be flown on September 30th was defeated. Police are investigating after shots fired at a tow truck business in Pickering early Wednesday morning. Durham Regional Police said a call came in around 2:20 a.m. for a shooting at the business on Notion Road near Highway 401 and Brock Road. An employee was in the parking lot when a black-colored sedan pulled up and male exited the vehicle, firing several shots towards the business. police said in a news release. Before officers arrived, the suspect had already driven away. Police said no one was physically injured in the incident and they recovered numerous shell casings. The motive is unknown, but investigators believe the incident was isolated. Toronto Police Chief Myron Demke said automatic speed enforcement (ASE) is one of the many ways to make the roads safer. Demke said Toronto Police remain laser-focused on enforcing the Highway Traffic Act, particularly around things like aggressive, dangerous driving, speeding, and the things that we know cause harm and kill people in our roadways. The Ontario Chiefs of Police have recently come out in strong support of speed cameras, contrary to Ford's push to axe them. Demke, however, said he feels that it is not appropriate for him to weigh in on the Ford's considerations. Torontonians, meanwhile, are divided on what to do the controversial program which several municipalities and regions across Ontario have introduced. Just last week, nearly 200 people shared their thoughts with the Awaz News, with many in support of them, while others taking issue with the devices. Toronto, however, decided last week to suspend its ASE program on all city streets, citing that when it comes to protecting the most vulnerable roads users and ensuring no unfair financial burden is placed on residents at a time of financial uncertainty, the balance tips too heavily toward monetary penalties on residents. Toronto Councillor Josh Metlew said he appreciates that residents are frustrated with this city's speed camera program and wants to see a common sense and evidence-based approach when it comes to it. He says automatic speed enforcement in Toronto has not occurred in a transparent way, which has undermined public confidence. At next week's City Council meeting, the Toronto St. Paul's rep said he intends to introduce a motion that, among other things, would require speed cameras to be clearly marked and provide a more reasonable and transparent speed threshold. Back in June, Chow introduced her own motion on Toronto's ASE program, which would include installing bigger and clearer signage to warn drivers, exploring ways to deliver tickets faster, preventing drivers from racking up multiple speed camera tickets at a single location before receiving their first warning in the mail, and capping the number of infractions a vehicle owner can receive from a single location before being formally notified. That item is set to be considered at the October 29 meeting of the city's Infrastructure and Environment Committee. A 17-year-old driver who struck a pedestrian in the city's East End on Tuesday night allegedly did not stop at the red light, Toronto Police said. Emergency crews were called to the Riverdale neighborhood at the intersection of Pape and Lipton Avenues, north of Danforth Avenue, around 8:22 p.m. Police said the teen driver allegedly disobeyed the traffic signal and hit a 24-year-old man who was crossing Pape from the west side to the east side at Lipton. The pedestrian was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police said the driver initially left the scene but later returned. It is unknown what charges will be laid as the investigation is still ongoing. Police are asking anyone with the information to contact them at 416-808-1900 or Crime Stoppers anonymously. An Oakville man is facing several charges after allegedly being involved in a human trafficking operation throughout the Greater Toronto Area GTA. In a release on Wednesday, Halton Police say investigators with the Human Trafficking Unit began looking into allegations in March that a woman was being exploited by a male suspect for financial gain. Police say the victim was being trafficked in the sex trade around the GTA. On September 22nd, officers executed a search warrant at an Oakville residence where the suspect, Thomas Jeffers, 41, was arrested. Police say they found a polymer 80 Glock-style pistol, a prohibited magazine with multiple rounds of ammunition, about $7,500 in cash, electronic and cellular devices, and other items during the search of the home. Jeffers is charged with multiple offenses, including received material benefit from sexual services, unauthorized possession of a firearm, procuring, and several others. He is being held in custody pending a bail hearing in Milton. Investigators believe there may be additional victims. Anyone with the information or anyone who has been victimized by the accused is asked to police at 905-825-4747 extension 4973 or Crime Stoppers anonymously. The RCMP have charged a 23-year-old RBC employee for accessing the personal data of Prime Minister Mark Carney, Awaz News has confirmed. Ibrahim Al-Hakim of Ottawa was arrested in July and has been charged with fraud over $5,000, unauthorized use of computer, identity theft, and trafficking in identity information. According to the investigation, Mr. Al-Hakim allegedly used the RBC's IT services for criminal purposes, including consulting several bank profiles without authorization and participating in fraud. RCMP spokesperson Eric Gass wrote in an email to Awaz News. He was released on a promise to appear with conditions, Gass also said. RBC spokesperson Cheryl Brain wrote to a statement to Awaz News that after the bank independently identified unauthorized system access, it took immediate action to engage authorities. The individual named is no longer employed at the bank, Brain wrote. We worked closely with law enforcement to support their investigation. The investigation has been assigned to the Integrated National Security Enforcement Team, INSET, according to Gass, who added the RCMP does not believe there was a threat to public safety or to Carney's personal safety. Gass said Al-Hakim was not previously known to police. When asked whether he is believed to be part of the criminal organization, Gass said the RCMP could not provide further details as it's part of an ongoing investigation. Al-Hakim had a court appearance on August 6th and is set to appear again on October 1st. Thank you for watching Awaz News. I'm Kubrali. I'll be seeing you tomorrow again, same time, same channel. Thank you.